way to go, especially against a strong team. So for me, we've seen Rowan really lock in people in their own half, but it's going to be a tough one to do against Rutgers.
Hearing the light at the end of the tunnel. Rowan University taking on Rutgers University. Best of 7, gentlemen. Let's rock.
And it is going to start with Rowan on the orange half. Pass back over to Gary, but he was forced backwards. Brian Busey in midfield as well to keep the play up. And you'd like to see just that consistent pressure that Rowan were able to put on earlier today and be able to finish on them consistently. It was a tough go against Penn State. And now just off the back wall, that shot by Gary is blocked out to the side. Professor Cab picking this one up. Right now, Rowan have complete control of the boost on the field.
And this is what they've done in many of their games. It's just keeping the pressure on, backboard after backboard, and eventually a shot goes in. Not too many good looks so far, but for Rutgers, they've got to figure out their defensive situation.
Not the best touch from Lukey. Allows Brian to come in, at least get a hit out, but the demo on Gary will kill Rowan's attack, and Flexmo able to move down the field.
And Rowan again, just back onto offense. Rutgers had a little small flicker of offense there, but immediately shut down by the Rowan defense.
And Rowan wanting to play aggressive here. You saw Gary playing the third man. He's playing in front of the midfield line. He finally did pick up boost. That midfield canister finally spawning for him. Rowan do have to be careful sometimes playing that far up, because if Gary does get caught out in that situation, the transition is going to lead to a goal for Rutgers. But so far, it hasn't pained them just yet. And Professor Cab on the wing for Brian Busey. And no good there. Lukey booms it downfield. Rutgers needed that. There hasn't really been a ton of action, and it has been mostly Rowan pressure, but the pressure has not resulted in even quality shots. And that might be the first quality shot for Rutgers just off the crossbar.
Yeah, you said, Jorby, I think that while Rutgers have put up with a lot of pressure here, Rowan really haven't tested the defense yet. We're finally seeing some Rutgers offense go off as Lukey forces 2 to go there. This could be an opportunity while the defense is spread on the Rowan side. Rutgers trying to find something here. Flexmo and Lukey trying to link up, but again, one player from Rowan able to break it up, and back the other way they go.
And Lukey, a great touch back out to Quick Boy. This allows Rutgers to move back to the blue half. Look at Quick Boy off the backboard. The shot by Lukey is blocked right into Gary. Flexmo trying to buy some sort of time, and it's gonna be a free goal for Gary. Rowan take the first lead in the series.
So Rutgers spend all that time on defense, and they do deny the shots that come through, and while they're on offense, they give up a free goal by just over-committing here. Rowan can just walk down the middle of the field, and Rutgers can do nothing about it. Rowan finally get on the board at halftime.
Rutgers, here's your wake-up call. This is a team that likes to challenge, to see what they can get away with, and then slowly, continuously ramp up the aggression. You try it there, you pay for it.
And that, for Rowan, just well executed. A good boom down the pitch. A quick pass out, the shot blocked. And Lukey also trying to pick up a demo to slow down Rowan's drive. Gary getting the bump onto Lukey. He can't get back to the ball. Flexmo backwards on the back wall. Owen expecting the touch from Professor Cab. It never came through, but still Rutgers moved down to the blue half. Brian Busey tries to get this away, and right in his face was Quick Boy. Flexmo up for this. That shot's just off the crossbar. Quick Boy on the wing, blocked by Gary. Not over just yet, but Lukey severely undercuts the ball. Shot still through. Gary able to pick up the save right there for Rowan.
Things picking up for the Rutgers now, and Rowan finding themselves in a similar situation that they put Rutgers in, just locking them in, shots off the backboard. That's a welcome clear on the dunk, and Lukey just pushes it past towards midfield.
Yeah, Quick Boy still doing a lot of work in midfield. Taking that bump away from Rutgers, or taking that bump out on Rutgers, really prevented what would have been a better shot than Rutgers were able to put on net. Gary over the Professor Cab, blocked for now, but all 3 members of Rutgers tied up together here, trying to get spread out. Quick Boy's over Gary, but Brian Busey, he gets just a slightly better touch on that, Corelli, and that's another goal for Rowan.
Yeah, that's a great pass out from Flexmo. You're starting to see the combination plays coming out from Rutgers, finding their teammates in the midfield and breaking down the defense, forcing them to spread out, forcing them to respect the pass, especially at the top of the box.
Less than a minute. Rowan, an empty net goal being their only so far. It's been enough. And they pick up some insurance here. Professor Cab, ball and boost in hand, still hanging in front of the backboard, but is cleared away by Rutgers. Still Gary pushing the edge. Quick Boy able to clear that out and trying to play it slow. Flexmo looking for a flick out. He did have a teammate out in the far corner, but tough to do. Rowan defense has been good. 15 seconds. Quick pass out to Quick Boy. Goes out to the corner. Back to Lucky. Off the corner again. Flipping down. Nobody finds his ball from Rowan. And Professor Cab is forced in. Still play alive for Rutgers. Professor Cab able to clear it away for now.
Dangerous.
Off the back wall. And it's knocked away. Lukey can't put it on target. Shot by Flexmo. Looking for Lukey. Oh, and the tap is not powerful enough. Dangerous drive, but Rowan hang on for the first game.
And they really do hang on because initially they had all the pressure, but then all of a sudden Rutgers really figured out their defense. And you can see Rowan only put up 2 shots in this game to the 8 on the Rutgers side, but in the end it's that one overcommit from the Rutgers that comes back to bite them, and Rowan takes game number 1 by just that.
I feel like Rowan played a very competent game of Rocket League. They didn't make too many mistakes. They took the opportunities that they were given. That's the one goal that they got. But again, that high-flying, dynamic offense that I saw out of them over the course of the week wasn't there. So for me, it feels like Rutgers just needs to make a few tweaks. They like to challenge teams. I think after losing that one goal, it's like, okay, maybe we need to readjust. But being able to get that shot at the very end, even though it doesn't go in, it shows to them like, hey, like we can get these opportunities. The way we're playing the game does work. Let's just turn it up a little bit.
And again, for Rutgers, that one mistake that they did make, a lot of times, you talk about IQ and your Rocket League IQ, a lot of it comes down to knowing when, and more importantly, when not to challenge the ball. And for Flexmo on that play in game number 1, it would have been much better for him knowing that both of his teammates were both just tied up on the opponent's back wall to try to play for the reactive touch, because he has to buy time for his teammates, and simply giving it away was not going to get it done. And for game number 2, as Flexmo just literally flexed his past 2 attackers, and Lukey picks this up, Rutgers are going to look to continue to put on that pressure they did in the first game.
Yeah, starting off things the way they did in game number 1. Rutgers, though, finally breaking out here, but not a dangerous pass from Flexmo as it goes back the other way. Here's Quick Boy maybe trying to drop that one down, not able to, but Rowan, that initial pressure, you've seen it in game number 1 and immediately off in game number 2, and maybe here, just past the first minute mark, trying to lock in the Rutgers side and start off game 2 on the right foot.
And the ideas from Rutgers are always good, and they're always making the correct read or making the correct play, whether it be stealing boost in the opposing corner or slowing it down when they know they have space, no matter where they are on the pitch. The ideas are there. Gary, the only man back, has to make this clear, and he does. It's just a matter of getting the quality shot, which is really the only thing you can write home about Rutgers and what they were unable to do. Still, Rowan have been putting some pressure onto Rutgers here. They finally get a giant clear down the pitch. Gary has time to get back to this. I don't think Quick Boy knew he didn't have any boost, as he was closer to the ball, but he wasn't getting there fast enough. And 2 minutes in, not a ton of fanfare and really not making either defense sweat so far. There have been touches where you feel like it's going to happen, but the defense has always been there.
And one of the things that Rutgers are doing so well on defense is if you're not going to keep possession of the ball and you got to get out of their half, the next best thing is just to clear it high into space, make Rowan go and chase the ball into their own corner, and it's buying them a lot of time breaking out, and it's setting up these opportunities. That's a bump, trying to break up the defense there. Quick Boy, a shot saved by Professor Cap, but only for how long here, as everyone's jumping up for Rowan, putting this one away, and Rutgers can't capitalize.
And again, it was the right idea. You go for the bump after the pass out. You got the pass out, and you couldn't commit, or you couldn't convert, excuse me, on that first shot. But then the follow-up shot by the third man, it was just too slow. Rowan had plenty of time to get reset on the line, and so, Rutgers need to be a little quicker, especially on the transition. Gary picking up this goal from Brian Busey.
Yeah, the Rutgers defense looked like they're playing in slow motion there as two players, Lukey and Flexmo, go up for that one, and Gary and Brian Busey, they link up together and they put it away. Rowan on the board first.
That can happen when you have this standstill for the majority of the game. You get lulled in this certain rhythm, sense of security, and then out of nowhere, Rutgers puts their foot on the pedal, 1-0.
And as soon as Rowan start putting shots on net, Rutgers are in trouble, because they've been able to limit the shot opportunities so far, but you can only do that for so long. Gary against the corner. Looking for another shot. He actually wins this challenge up high off the backboard, but no one willing to commit on Rowan. That was dangerous for Lukey. Allows Professor Cab to come in. Quick Boy needs to get this out over to Flexmo, and he's got him. Rutgers move down the pitch.
And Rowan, couple scary chances here. Rutgers defense still looks a little shaky there as that one goes off the back wall. Dangerous ball here. Flexmo can get touched. He cannot, at least not on target, as he plays it back to the corner. But Rutgers would love to respond here as another one on target, but easily saved by Brian Busey, excuse me, as Rutgers now looking at a minute left on the clock. They've got to respond. They do not want to go down by two games here in a best of 7.
The transition here for Rowan, a second goal. You feel like it'll just be the nail in the coffin. It's a catch by Lukey, staying close to it as much as he can, but Brian Busey taking this one. Can't get it by, he just hands it back to Lukey. Gary, not just yet, but Rowan continuing the drive. Flexmo on the pass. It's not the best touch, but he does keep it close to Quick Boy. Back over to Lukey. Brian Busey can't get there. Gary, the last man back to have to make the touch. It's back out towards middle. It's only to Flexmo, and it's a banger off of the backboard. Slapped right back to the attacking third.
And to me, Flexmo might want to have that one back. Putting that one on target would have helped so much because he could have ripped that shot. You saw the power he had, just boomed it over the net. But still, Rutgers doing a good job, and as soon as I say it, keeping possession, they get demoed, and Rowan gets out.
Another chance here. Flexmo looking downfield for Lukey. He's got him. That's going to be close, but it's just high, and Gary has it cleared anyway. Still, Rutgers threatening. That shot's high. Forces the double commit, and the shot is blocked by Gary. Lukey off the backboard. Can't get it. Gary again stands tall. Acrobatic in net. And Rowan, if time expires, the ball hits the ground. Rutgers off the crossbar. Blocked. No goal. Rowan steal game 2.
Absolutely do. And again, Rutgers come alive late in the game, but they just can't eke out the shots. You can see it 8 in favor of Rutgers, and you look back, the Flexmo shot there in a minute left, Quick Boy shot right at the end. You feel like one of those had to go in or at least make more tough saves because eventually that Rowan defense was going to crack.
There was one play that went unmentioned when I saw it happen. It was a quick pass to midfield by Rutgers, and Gary and Brian Busey were on the line on the far left side of the line. The right side of the net was wide open, and Gary was turned the other way. He had a free shot on net. I believe it was Flexmo, and he just completely missed it. And it was not a slow pass at all. So, you know, it's not exactly the easiest thing to put it on target, but still, when you have that much of the net open, you have to convert. You have to convert.
What's really cool about this series for me is that both of these teams are starting to understand that the further they go into the bracket, the higher they're going to be dealing with a much more difficult opponent. They're just not able to get away with the things that they're used to. Who's going to adapt? Right now, Rowan's up 2. They're feeling pretty good.
And I feel like Rowan is kind of getting away with some wins here. 2 1-0 wins here over Rutgers, and it's come off of one big mistake in game number 1, and then a couple of great saves, no doubt, from Rowan, but the pressure was on from the Rutgers. They just couldn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, to your point about the saves, I mean, give credit to Gary at the very end of that game. He's the entire reason that Rowan ended up closing that game out in regulation. And Rowan definitely looked much better on the offensive end in game number 2, and that's what you wanted to see out of them, because in game 1, they had only registered 2 shots on net. And in game number 2, they registered 6. It was a much needed improvement. So even though they did only get 1 goal still off of a big Rutgers error, they still were able to put more pressure on, which will limit Rutgers' ability to drive down the field.
And so now it's up to Rutgers to kind of respond back here. In the first minute, no real opportunities. But for Rutgers, again, in a best of 7, you got a lot of time to work with, especially if you do go down in 2 games, but you got to start winning here, and they haven't been dominating wins from Rowan. So it's up to Rutgers to start creating these chances and then executing on them.
The challenge allows Gary to take control here. They're going to catch Rutgers out on the transition to defense, except the touch to the box never came. Gary back out to Professor Cab. He has to get this touch. He does. That shot is blocked by Quick Boy, Brian Busey. Off the ceiling, just buying plenty of time for Rowan to reset there in midfield. You see Professor Cab with Gary on the wing. He's got to go cross the pitch to try to get back to this. So Rutgers, a good defensive effort there, but play all the defense in the world, it won't net you a goal.
And they need one, and they need a game here. Flexmo and Lukey linking up here in the midfield, but easily saved here by Brian Busey as he plays it off the sidewall. Might get a second touch here as he puts it past another defender. Now an opportunity for Rowan arises, looking for the demo.
Wow.
The dunk on Gary on the crossbar twice, and it still goes in off the last defender for the Rutgers, and Rowan once again find themselves in the lead.
This has got to be so hard for the Rutgers defenders. You have Brian Busey and Gary both side by side headed to the corner. Brian Busey realizes, okay, well, I'm going to make the most of this situation and just go straight onto the line. He doesn't have to touch anybody. He just has to make them think, and that's exactly what he did.
You're pretty much playing 3-card money in that situation. It's like, all right, who's going to make the break on the ball? Like, I don't know. You're just stuck frozen. You make the wrong choice, you lose the ball.
And again, Rowan score, and Rutgers have yet to score a single time in this series. 3 unanswered goals in the set. And these high balls that Rutgers have been testing the backboard with, I mean, the backboard has been well defended by Rowan. Oh, and Quick Boy, tough situation there against Lucky. Brian Busey taking this one, gonna carry it as far as he can. He tried for the flip reset, but he's just too close to it, and that's a boomer towards the net. Flexmo tries to get around it. Professor Cat tries to place it slow, and he gets on the backside of the ball and makes the save.
Well, for the position that he put himself in, it was good positioning in the end to put himself on the other side of the ball and push that one away. And here's Gary. He's been dangerous on the ball into the air, dribble up and over Lukey, but no, the save doesn't come out. Brian Busey's there, and Rowan find the second goal in Game 3.
Love this carry from Gary, and Lukey, he's already back, and Gary knows it. He's like, I'm going to carry this up, make him jump for the ball because he's the last defender. He doesn't have to score because he knows that he has a teammate ready to score.
This is the offense I like to see out of Rowan University. Gary out here making plays. The follow-up is there, immediate, and it has authority. Rowan University, this is one of the first games where I feel like they're winning the game on their terms.
And I like to see the dribble plays come out from any team in the CRL because we don't see it a lot, and there really is an art to it, and it forces a tough decision for the defender. Do I go and possibly get beat, or do I wait for the shot to come out? And that was the dilemma that Lukey was in there. Gary did a great job of making that decision even tougher by going into the air dribble.
And for Rutgers, it has been different for them in game number 3. They had a lot of pressure in the first 2 games, couldn't convert. Now they can't even get pressure onto Rowan. Rowan have completely taken over in game number 3, and it's their first multi-goal lead in the set as well. And that insurance goal with a minute left will absolutely pay them dividends. You give yourself a get-out-of-jail-free card on a mistake, especially after how the last 2 games went, you gotta be feeling super confident about your position and potentially going up 3-0 in the series right now.
And they are playing confident, especially in game number 3. It's definitely the best game from Rowan. While they have won the last 2 games, this has been the cleanest game so far, and Rutgers seem very deflated moving down the field. Not too many plays finding teammates anymore, and they're just trying to force it and hope that something goes in.
And it causes situations like that where Flexmo, he's racing back to try to get into a position to make a play on the ball, and you have Rowan winning every single midfield challenge. Lukey high on this. He stole the boost away, which gives him the angle to go for this ball, but again, nothing comes of it just yet. Keeps the play alive. The drive from Rutgers, you got to score. Now you're just thinking about scoring with time left. The pass down to Flexmo. He's got his man, but it's blocked again. Rowan, defense, standing tall no matter what. Lukey tries to force the issue. It's not gonna happen. Running out of time, running out of life. Rutgers cannot work their way in. The door is closed. They don't have the key to get in, and Rutgers take it to match point.
Again, very clean game here from Rowan, and Rutgers are really struggling on defense. And while, again, not the cleanest win, Rowan are heating up on offense, but I think right there the stat line shows it. Zero shots coming out from Rutgers. A big goose egg being dropped here on the shots department, and you're not going to win if you don't score goals. Did you know that, Haloran?
You know, I think I read that somewhere. Yeah. That's an oof. That's an oof on the stat line. 0 shots. That is not how you want Rutgers to play. They just seem to be regressing. They were maintaining their overall ability to get into the game, but they just somehow managed to fall off. Rowan, on the other hand, they're starting to feel themselves. They're going for some more of these dribbles. They're going for more of these carries. What I would like to see out of Rutgers University is just getting back to basics, going for demos, going for boost. Do you think that it's been boost starved a lot of the time, Jorby?
I feel like most of the time they're getting beat on the transition, and it's because they're trying to force the issue. Corelli hinted at it earlier in game number 3, where it's like they're trying to stick things against the back wall, and then everybody's pushing up just expecting the ball to fall back into them, and then they're out of position.
Potentially the last game for Rutgers University unless they begin that long marathon of a reverse sweep. Seen it
Nice.
before. Can they do it?
And Flexmo got the demo on his carry. It was a good idea. Couldn't convert there, but that's what you need to see from Rutgers. Professor Cab just trying to keep the ball away from Rutgers, and he accomplishes his goal for Rowan. And the way Rowan look right now, game one was probably their weakest performance. That's a nice tap up from Brian Busey. Gary keeping this alive, and they've done nothing but continually improve game after game since that game number one. The slow carry here from Brian Busey. Doesn't get the best touch, but Gary's there to quickly follow it up.
And the good news is for Rutgers here, game number 4 starts 0-0, and they can make a difference. But already Rowan is showing dominance in the offensive third. Gary with a beautiful pass across to Brian Busey, and everyone getting involved from the Rowan side. Brian Busey has an open shot to shoot on here. Rutgers just in disarray on defense.
And I couldn't see exactly who it was, but whoever was in the corner trying to challenge Gary on the play, he was in the right position for the play. It was just, you know, Gary had the beat on the ball. It was a great pass from Professor Cab. Really just, like you said, a stellar play from Rowan, and they have the lead.
It might be a long game 4 for Rutgers right now. Right off the break, the game starts a demo. A goal off the break in the first minute or so. Rutgers, they're just getting smothered right now.
Yeah, and you're already down 3-0 in the set, and it just continues. Professor Cab has just knocked the ball away from Rutgers at every opportunity. They had to stretch for that one, and Flexmo's going to make them pay for it. Rutgers score their first goal of the series.
And they really needed that one because Rowan would have started to run away with this game. You could sense a bit of tilt coming in for the Rutgers, but they immediately respond, and they're back in it in game number 4.
And there's plenty of time to play with here to continue to refine their strategy that got them their first goal in this entire best of 7. Rowan has to watch out.
Quick boy. That's a player who has been very quiet in this series, who was anything but in their last matchup. Professor Cab, that shot forces a double commit out, and coming in is Brian Busey, muscles his way through, but Flexmo's there. Downfield, he's got Lucky, or Lukey, excuse me, on the return. Gary's able to hit up over to Brian Busey. Rutgers, the pressure died. Where was anybody on the challenge there? That was a huge opportunity to try to take the lead, and they squander it.
Yeah, squandered opportunity, but maybe made
All
up
right,
here
you got
as
it back.
the play
Got it back.
goes in for Flexmo, but you said it. A squandered opportunity, but turned into another one here as Flexmo just puts it up and over. Brian Busey gets an interesting touch, I'll add, as he carries it on his own, and Rutgers get their first lead of the series.
That shows to me that Rutgers is looking to capitalize on mistakes. That was one of the first gimmies we've really seen out of Rowan. Brian Busey just doing a backflip midfield, get the ball over him. That's going to be a goal. Rutgers, they're not done yet.
And Gary, just inertia sometimes works that way for you. And you get that dunk, and Flexmo scores another. He's got the hat trick. Rutgers back in the series.
And Flexmo is a player that I pointed out when we pulled him up on the roster here today, and he's been pretty quiet throughout all of the days here, and he's coming to day 3 when it's on the line here, when you're down by 3 games in a best of 7, and he's finally turning it on here, seeing 3 goals, and he's really been by himself.
This is a characteristic we continue to see out of Rutgers. The moment they feel like they can walk all over you, they're lacing up the shoes and they're going for a stroll.
Another off the kickoff, quick boy. His shot just hit out to the side, and Rowan, it's been tough to get the offense going. It looked like it was going to be another just pub stomp. Instead, I guess nothing has really been a pub stomp in this series, but the way Rowan have controlled the pitch, it has felt like it at times. But they cannot allow themselves to go down another goal here. And now it's caught on the transition. It's off the post. Rowan are lucky that it's not 4-1 right now.
And now
Oh,
it's up
that's
to
in.
Rowan.
That's in. No, he's got it. All right.
How do they come back in this game? You don't want to give Rutgers a chance to possibly reverse sweep them. We've seen a few reverse sweeps already between the other conferences, and for Rowan, they don't want to be another statistic.
That's a good touch from Gary. It needs a follow-up from somebody on Rowan. No follow-up is there. Professor Cab forced to have to make a difficult save. A minute and a half left. Gary, no boost. Looking for somebody, but Professor Cab is the only man he was going to find. And now he's trying to move up with no boost. Rutgers with Gary. That tee up high. Professor Cab, just look at him just harassing everybody on the line there. But Brian Busey, he had to be the man to get that ball in the corner, and he never touched the ball. And Rutgers, again, it has just, the offense has died for Rowan in game 4, non-existent after the first minute.
See, it seems a little bit more disorganized, and not things aren't clicking as well as they were in the first 3 games. As Gary misses one off the wall here and gets it past the first defender with 45 seconds left. Rowan have got to score one with time.
Oh, and another whiff too, and that's when you just start getting into your own head, and you start missing easy clears, easy touches. You saw the one from Gary and then the one from Brian Busey. Gary, he has to clear this ball out. 30 seconds left. Rowan, they were trying for the sweep, and for a while it looked like it may have been, but as the Eastern Conference decrees, we make these series competitive. And Gary, there's just, you hit the ball up and nobody goes up for it. They almost feel disinterested, like they gave up on game 4 here, and they're just playing towards game 5, which, fair enough. You bought yourself 3 buffer games, and that shot almost went in for Professor Cab, and Rutgers will stay alive. They'll take game 4. But again, it was just, that whole last minute, it just felt slow, disinterested, any sense of urgency from Rowan at all to try to get that game back tied.
Well, I think give credit to Rutgers. I think they were finally playing up to their potential here in this game. It looked a lot better. They got Flexmo involved, 3 goals on 5 shots. So he was definitely doing his part for the team here for the Rutgers. So now it's about capturing what they did here in this game and carrying on, because they got a long road ahead of them to get back into this series.
I think it's a lot of confidence interaction. We saw Rowan go up 3-0 in a series, and it's like, okay, we got one more game, we're going to win this. And then finally, we see Rutgers get on the board. They do not let up. The moment they're like, okay, we can start to score, I'm not at all surprised to see them get 3 in one game after they've had a 3-game drought. And Rowan's just acquiescing to a bit. It's just like, oh, all right, they're actually here. They're blowing us up. They're actually playing aggressively. It's now up to Rowan to match that aggression and try to suppress a team that just doesn't stop once they get momentum.
And again, when you get late in the game, it just comes down to making your touches for Rowan. And those are touches in situations where they weren't feeling any pressure at all. And so in those kind of situations where you control your destiny, you control what you can do, you have to execute 100% of the time. Brian Busey up high to Professor Cab. Professor Cab's got this off the backboard. He has the read. That shot is high, but Lukey is there anyway, and the transition for Rutgers. Can he get the goal? Quick Boy misses. The shot from Luck is in, and Rutgers have the first lead.
So for Rutgers, it's great to go on transition here. Quick Boy getting too cute with it as he throws in a couple flips. He could absolutely just gotten to the ground and at least put something on target. Lukey bails him out with a shot to the back of the net, and the Rutgers strike first here in game 5.
I get where Rowan was trying to go with it. We're here at game number 5. Let's come out of the gate swinging, show that we can still be aggressive, but we also saw what happens when you overcommit at the very beginning of the series. You see the ball to go the other way, and you're looking at a replay.
And Rutgers, it's going to be a fight. Best of 7s are marathons, especially after you put yourself in a 3-game hole. But they respond the only way they really could have responded, which is a quick goal here in game 5 after really taking control of the series almost. That shot, it's off and around. Flexmo tries to make the save. Professor Cap takes advantage. Rowan tie the game up. They're back in it.
And Flexmo doing everything he can to save it. Gary off the crossbar. Don't panic, Flexmo, as he waits for that ball to set up itself on the clear, but Professor Cab there to clean it up, and Rowan tie it up.
I don't know what it is about the East region, man, but it seems like they're actively trying to get as many pixels possible to deny these goals. Suddenly, Rowan follows up. They're able to get one in.
Oh, and Gary's going to take advantage off the whiff. Rowan have the lead here in game 5.
Big miss there from Lukey. He was a little bit close to his wall as he went up there. The angle just wasn't there from him, and Gary, he's going to make you pay, follows it up, puts it away for Rowan, and they're back in the lead.
This late in the bracket, you don't get away with those. You come in at the wrong angle. Rowan Universities, they're going to be there.
How does this kickoff go for Rutgers? Can they get a quick response? Well, it's going to be Brian Busey picking it up. He gets the dunk as well. Quick Boy. And Quick Boy just feels like, he talks about that shot being saved by Lukey, but he also talked about, wanting to play patiently and playing patiently. It feels like he's rushing a lot of these touches, which are forcing either the whiff or that right there for Lukey, able to make the save.
Big save there from Lukey, and a big whiff from Lukey as he follows that one up. Professor Cab had no boost though, and Rowan on the goal line there, almost able to put a 3rd goal away.
And Rowan with the lead here. We've seen what they do with a lead in hand. They've been able to control the pitch when they know there isn't pressure, isn't immediate pressure that they have to score. And they just play with so much more confidence, and it allows them to control the ball, control the pitch, find the challenge down the field. But this is dangerous, but Brian Busey able to pick up the rebound. Gary gonna play it slow out off the demo on Quick Boy. A lot of demos for Rowan that completely just stinted the Rutgers drive.
That's a great touch from Gary, but even better clear from Lukey catching out Professor Cab as he went for that one. Trying to bring the ball down was Quick Boy, but immediately demoed for it. Here's Gary now on the transition,
Nice
trying to pick it up. Flexmo trips him up on the transition, and Brian Busey tries to play this back for Rowan. Do they have another opportunity? That one's off the back wall, no follow-up for Rowan.
And again, no immediate follow-up, but Flexmo ended up giving the ball away to Gary there. Rutgers have to find each other in space instead of just handing it off in the blue half and hoping that Rowan mistouch or whiff. 2 minutes left. Rowan still with the lead. Up high is Lukey. Tried to get the touch. Flexmo bumped his teammate out of the way. Professor Cap looking for Gary. Gary tried to get on top of it. Quick Boy plays it out to the corner for now. He misses on the rebound, though, and Flexmo back over to Lukey. Lukey back to Flexmo, and broken up by Gary. Brian Busey, here's the transition. Gary and Professor Cap both commit on the play, and Rutgers cannot clear it out. An opportunity on the transition again, and Lukey can't find the angle.
And while it's only a 1-goal lead, pressure is on the Rutgers here to put something away. Professor Cab trying to build this lead, though, as 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock.
And every time Rutgers have put a drive together, it's been a demo again. On the last drive Rutgers had, Rowan got a demo on a Quick Boy again on the third man in the rotation, and it's so hard to keep that ball in play if you aren't ready for that demo, because typically your positioning is accounting for a third player on the field. 1 minute left, and still Rutgers. This is their tournament life right now on the line with 1 minute left. Rowan, they want to end it right now. They do not want game 6. Professor Cab off the ceiling. Gary gets in the way! Full back power! Rowan get the insurance!
Big play here from Gary as Professor Cab puts it off the ceiling. You can see him come off the back wall and just dunk down Flexmo, not let him get that save, and Rowan have a 2-goal lead here in game number 5, looking to take it.
That was downright grimy right there to be able to get that bump. I've never seen someone get Goomba stomped before in Rocket League.
Yeah, he was playing whack-a-mole. Gary off the back wall, looking for this insurance goal with 30 seconds left, by the way. It's gonna seal the fate of Rutgers, unless a miracle happens, and that's exactly what Rutgers are praying for, a miracle. Flexmo can't get there. Brian Busey has the clear. Professor Cap forces his way through. And he gets the shot with the 4th goal in game number 5. Rowan looked to stroll into the grand finals to face Rensselaer.
Great play here from Professor Cab. He gets the second touch, then follows it up on Quick Boy there and dunks it home. And with 18 seconds left, Rowan going to take game number 5.
Rowan comes alive at the back end of this game when they needed it the most. Rutgers starts to develop momentum. Jorby, you called it out. Go for demos, blow them up, and then get back on the offense.
And it worked really well for them. In Rutgers, it's just really more, Rowan outplayed them here in game number 5. Every single drive was met by a demo. Every single drive was met with a challenge in your face. Rutgers couldn't find each other in space when they did get on the blue half of the field, and the result is Rowan moving to the grand finals. And I can't say at the start of this week that our grand finals in the Eastern Conference would be the Rensselaer Engineers versus Rowan.
And yet here we are, Rowan University. I've been wondering, how do you stop Rutgers once they once they really bring up their offense and they're firing on all cylinders? Blow them up. That definitely seemed to be the answer. Rowan University, props to you. They move forward in the bracket. Let's take a look at that. They do not see game number 7 in this best of 7. They have one more challenge. Rowan University, Rensselaer, Polytechnic Institute. It comes down to this. I am so excited for this grand finals.
I have to agree with Jorby and just echo what he said here. I would have not guessed these two teams to come out and be our grand finalists. And of course, Rensselaer being the only team here that has been in the CRL before. Rowan has been a play-in team in the playoffs, but it never made it to league play. So it's their time to prove themselves here in the Eastern Conference.
No better place to do it than the grand finals. We have a tweet coming in from you guys at home. Let's see what you guys had to say. Benjamin77. What's your favorite moment so far from CRL?
Whoa.
The Redlands making it through.
I was gonna
in game number 7.
I was thinking that too.
To be able to go up 3 and then the Wildcats bring back to game number 7 and almost have the reverse sweep, and then they just steal away that goal right at the end. That to me is like peak competitive Rocket League.
I have to agree. That would be mine too.
I honestly have to say that the Redlands Bulldogs as well, simply because when we started CRL Spring, we came into this without really knowing a lot about these qualifying teams. We knew a lot about Arizona, and when Redlands Bulldogs brought it to Arizona, and they were just, it was the quick passing plays and the ability to just beat them on the transition consistently. It was fun to watch, and it was great to see an up-and-coming team that didn't have any CRL experience before go and whip the national champions.
What's really great about that question, thank you very much for it, is that there's still a lot more Rocket League to play and to be seen here at Spring CRL 2019, but continue to send us your questions, your comments, use hashtag CRL19, and maybe you get your name butchered by yours truly. We're going to take a short break, and then we got the grand finals. It all comes down to this. Who's taking the East? We're going to find out.